Create a vision for your culture and define the future you intend to create. Now, I'd like to describe two businesses for you. Business number one is the traditional business, the way many small business owners and entrepreneurs typically do business, and the way I used to run my business myself. You create a product or service based on the perceived needs of a market. Hopefully, that market is large enough to sustain you and the myriad competitors you most likely have. And no doubt, your business model is similar, if not identical, to your competitors' business models. So you all try to differentiate yourselves from each other with self-aggrandizing words like best, premier, advanced, or any other such terms. You shout loudly about the features and benefits of your products and services to anyone that will listen. But at the end of the day, for many customers, it really comes down to price. Your focus is on the here and now. Your day is filled with tedious tasks that primarily put out fires and get you through from day to day, week to week, check to check. Your market is as broad as possible so as not to alienate anyone and leave money on the table. You most certainly do have a handful of committed customers who love your work and return over and over again. But the majority of your customers could easily leave you if a better offer came around. Now, business number two is the small business with a strong, committed, and active culture around it. It is built on a business model that best reflects your authentic self. In this business, you see your competitors as potential partners, good people doing good business that you can learn from and possibly collaborate with. Because your authentic self is truly unique, and chances are you won't really have competitors. Either because nobody else does what you do, or because you do what you do so well that people who discover you wouldn't dream of leaving you. Now, if you're just starting your business, you have a choice. You can either allow your brand culture to default, or you can design your own brand culture. And if you have an existing business, you have a similar choice. You can either continue with your brand culture in default mode, or you can reboot the whole thing and create the culture you've always imagined. Now, I'll be honest, default mode is easier, at least in the short run. In default mode, you don't have to overthink anything. You don't have to design anything. You don't have to step on any toes or alienate anyone. And most of all, you don't have to put yourself into your business. You can remain anonymous. So really, that's the appeal of a default culture. Creating a brand culture means you need to step out on a limb. You need to put yourself out there and be ready for the very real possibility of rejection. It's easier to keep your feelings to yourself than to tell someone you love them. It's easier to stay home than to take a trip around the world. It's easier to watch TV and eat ice cream than to exercise and improve your health. It's easier to do the bare minimum and be adequate than to over-deliver and be stellar. And it's easier to stay in the audience and watch from a safe distance than to step out on stage and be the rock star. What's not easy is to create your vision for your culture and then share that vision with the world. That's not easy. It takes courage, because when you create a vision for your brand, for your culture, for your business, and you proclaim it loudly, you're effectively putting yourself in the spotlight and saying, this is who I am. This is what my business is. These are my ideals, my passions, my dreams. It takes courage to do that, because people with small minds who lack the courage to do that for themselves find it easy to make themselves feel better by picking apart your vision, pointing out what they perceive to be the flaws and all the reasons why it'll never work. Ignore them. Your attention to them gives them power and sway over others who might listen. Ignore them because they aren't your customers anyway. Your powerful vision draws a line in the sand that says, everyone on this side of the line is with me. You're my people. And everyone on that side doesn't really matter. For me, it was easier to keep Fuel Blue the way it always was than to do all the work to change it. So, it remained the same. It was difficult for me to be honest with myself about my brand culture, because I knew that making the change to be more authentic would mean that many of my current clients would no longer fit the mold. And it wasn't until I realized that my lack of attention led to a mold in which I did not fit. And that certainly doesn't benefit me or my clients. When I looked at my favorite work and my best clients, I realized what I wanted my culture to be. I wanted to create a culture that I call leading edge rock star. But to me, Leading edge means being connected to your authentic self. And rockstar means being your authentic self in everything you do. I said earlier that allowing your brand culture to default was easier in the short run, but in the long run, it can be devastating. You're never completely fulfilled by a default culture. You'll always dream of what could have been. And even worse, you never achieve the level of success you always wanted. And remember, success being making lots of money, doing your authentic work, and having the freedom to live the life and lifestyle you want. I know I was missing the mark on all three. And I know many of my clients and entrepreneur friends and colleagues, they were missing the mark too. So how did I do it? How did I make the transformation from adequate default mode to stellar authentic mode? Well, once I had my authentic self and my private brand defined in my mind, thought about all the different things I was doing in all my businesses and projects, and how I could combine the best of everything into one cohesive business. For me, this was creating and designing things in all kinds of media that were both entertaining and inspiring to leading-edge rock stars. Fuel Blue went from being a traditional graphic design studio to a learning and production hub. Everything I create comes out of Fuel Blue, and they all work together to help leading-edge rock stars like you design and launch their own brand cultures. And this course, Be a Rockstar, it's only the beginning. The result is that I am creating a culture around all my strongest talents, around my own core genius. And it's a culture filled with people who all want to do the same for their businesses and their lives. My vision for Fuel Blue is leading edge rock stars enriching the world with their core talents and passions. That's the vision. Leading edge rock stars. Entrepreneurs connected to their higher self, being genuine and authentic in their businesses. This is of utmost value to the entrepreneur, for without authenticity, you can't achieve all three factors of success. Enriching the world. You also can't achieve success if it's all about you. You need to create something of value for your world, for your audience. It doesn't have to be the whole world, just the people in your audience who would want to be in business with your authentic self, with their core talents and passions. You can't be authentic and you can't sustain a business unless you are using your core talents and passions. It won't last. You'll burn out. The initial excitement of a new business or newfound financial success will wane and be replaced by the monotony of a work that does not utilize your highest talents. The Be a Rockstar program is all about helping you be the leading edge entrepreneur you were born to be. I want you to create your own culture around your own core genius. I want you to elevate yourself to be the leader of that culture. And the first step in creating that culture is to write it down. There are several aspects to a successful culture, but one of the most powerful is the vision. In fact, I would say it's the foundation. I'd like you to think of your culture's vision as the end goal, the future result of your life's work. And not simply for you, though you could have a personal vision, but rather your vision paints a picture detailing the results your audience enjoys because of your work. Now, there are no rules as to how to craft a vision, but generally speaking, you want it to be as concise as possible while still getting the complete message across. I created 3 simple formulas to help you craft your own vision statement, and I'd like to share them with you right now. The first is value for audience. This one is deceptively simple and definitely the most concise. To complete these, imagine many years have passed and you've built a successful business that's not only thriving for you, but has absolutely enriched the world. And by world, I mean the world of your audience. Not every business will speak directly to the entire planet, and nor do they have to. I'll elaborate more on this in the next video. Your world can be relatively small, but the impact on it you want to have should be tremendous. What value have you provided to your world? Give this some thought. And remember, this isn't about you. Value means something that has been of great benefit to your audience. Their lives have been enriched because you and your business existed. And second, define who that world is. Who is your audience? Is it a group of people that have an existing name? Can you start broad and get more and more specific? For example, if you do work for a specific industry, is it really anyone in that industry, or can you get more specific? Your defined audience should be as general or specific as needed. Just make sure it doesn't lean too far in one direction or the other. Here are some examples of what the value for audience vision could be. Clean drinking water for third world countries. Style and confidence for the big and tall man. Health and long life for women who love to run. A computer for every student. The second formula has a couple of options. It can be audience with future positive outcome, or audience without future negative outcome. Now, personally, I'm an optimist and I would try to spin everything into a future positive. But sometimes portraying the future as being free of some pain is a better description of your vision. For example, it could be something like this: a world without disease. An America with equal rights for all. Entrepreneurs achieving business and personal success. A Gotham with the hero it deserves. Last, there's the formula that I chose for my own business. Now, I like this formula best because in addition to defining your audience and the value you will have provided in this future world, it also describes how your audience is empowered to fulfill their own visions. This was particularly important to me as my vision is to have you fulfill your vision. And the formula is this: audience doing what they do with value they provide. Or it could be audience doing what they do because of the value that you provide. And it can look something like this: tap dancers performing for global audiences with the same level of attention given to other forms of dance. Architects creating innovative work environments to revitalize our inner cities. Moms and dads everywhere creating healthy meals without breaking their budgets. Or in my case, leading-edge rock stars enriching the world with their core talents and passions. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to your vision, but it has to figuratively paint a picture of what the world will be like in the future as a direct result of the work you will do.